UFC Denver is coming up in a couple weeks, and today, guys, I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps if you'd like to skip to any part of the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels, and welcome back to another betting guide video where we talk about all things betting for each UFC card. Now, this betting guide is going to be very different. I have a little bit of a note for you guys, and I'm sorry if you don't want to hear this, just skip the timestamps, will be there. We are not going to be going over nearly as much as we usually do. One, because I think this card is incredibly tough when it comes to bets. There's a lot of close fights. There is quite a few of low-level fights where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. The picks are going to be all over the place this time around. Most fights in the card, I don't believe you should be placing a bet. I will be barely betting on this card. I'll probably just be like focusing a little bit more on one championship this week, to be honest with you, but this card is also still incomplete. We had a few fights fall out at the time recording this video, which you are seeing it yesterday. There are only 3 fights on the main card, so I would imagine that the UFC is going to add more fights to it, but as of right now, the card's incomplete, so we're barely going to be going through anything. I don't believe you should be betting on most of the cards, so today we are only going to be going through the confident picks and underdog opportunity and the 3 biggest fights that I believe you should avoid on this card. I apologize that this video isn't how they typically are, but it's just one of those cards. But anyways, guys, let's get into it with the confident picks that I do have. And the first confident pick I have for you guys is going to be Christian Rodriguez. I think that Christian Rodriguez is a very underrated fighter, and I think Julian Erosa is past his prime. And it's important to note, guys, if you guys would like me to dive deeper into all of these fights, I do have a full card breakdown where I do that on the channel, but these videos are typically a little bit of a sum up for that. I think C-Rod is under the radar for so many fighters. Julian Erosa, yeah, he's coming off of a win, but I also like the competition that Christian Rodriguez has been facing. He's gotten some nice wins over some nice fighters. I do think his last fight was a robbery, but he did show some like amazing skill set in there. I don't want to say that this is like it's a different level of competition over here because C-Rod still is not nearly as experienced as Julian Erosa, but I do think that Julian Erosa is past his prime. I think this is a good matchup for Christian Rodriguez to get the win. And Julian Erosa could open up the ground game, but I don't think that he will choose that. But anyways, I have one more confident pick for you guys in this card, and it's going to be Jasmine Jastovicius. Let me sum it up for you, okay? I think Jasmine Jastovicius is a great fighter, and I think Viviane Araújo is a subpar fighter. That's pretty well there. That's all there is to it. Now, it is important to note that I do see spots for success with Araújo with her boxing, but sometimes she shows up technical, sometimes she doesn't. The only way to, in my opinion, beat Jasmine Jastovicius is to have clean, accurate, crisp striking like we saw against Tracy Cortez, and I don't think Araújo will bring that to the table, and I think Jasmine Jastovicius is still getting better. She's coming off of one of the most dominant performances we've ever seen in WMMA, and in my opinion, I don't remember if it was 1 round or 2 rounds, but I had a 10-7 in here if I was scoring. Like, honestly, she has the momentum. I think she is a great fighter compared to the most of the talent in the division, and I think she's going to get the win over Viviane Araújo. Let's continue on, guys. I have one underdog opportunity for you over here, and there are some underdogs over here on this card that I think can win, but one stands out to me because at the time recording this video, he was sitting at almost a 3-1 underdog, and that's going to be Muslim Salikov. I am picking Muslim Salikov to win this fight, but it worries me that he's 40 years old. But he's taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio, who is way past his prime. Even in his most recent win against Alex Morono, he was losing this fight the whole time until he found a KO. Things like this happen. It's not like it was a fluke win or anything, but come on, man. Just since 3 years ago, he's been really doing nothing but losing, and I know that he's been taking on okay competition over here, but I just think that Santiago Ponzinibbio is a shell of the fighter that he once was on the come up, and Muslim Salikov, I know that his record recently hasn't been anything to really ride home about, but these last 2 performances, these last 2 losses, have honestly aged super well, and I apologize if my recording just lagged there, but I think that Muslim Salikov can get a win in this fight. I'm definitely not putting my money on that, but if you're looking for an underdog, that's probably the best odds you'll get in an underdog this time around. So anyways, let's continue on to the 3 biggest fights that I believe you guys should avoid, and I will tell you why. The first one being Cody Brundage versus Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Long story short, I am never betting on a Cody Brundage fight again. Too much goes wrong with Cody Brundage, and I suggest that you keep your money away from Cody Brundage. Let's continue on to the co-main event, that being Gabriel Bonfim versus Angelusa. Now, I think that Angelusa is being severely underrated. I know that he left a sour taste in my mouth and a lot of your mouths in his last performance, but the reality is he is a very skilled fighter who I believe has a future in the UFC. And he's taking on Gabriel Bonfim, and you always got to worry, and this is the reason why I'm saying not to bet on this fight, because he just took his first I don't want to, like, I guess it was humiliating, but I don't want to say, like, oh my God, Gabriel Bonfim, like, just got humiliated. But I mean, like, from his perspective, he just got finished by Nicholas Dalby in a performance that nobody saw coming, in a performance that could have just shattered his confidence. So it's one of those guys, it's one of those performances where I need to see Gabriel Bonfim come back. Sometimes guys take a loss like this, they return better. Sometimes their chin is a little weary, sometimes they're hesitant, and I just don't know what version of Gabriel Bonfim is going to return to the octagon. So that's why I do believe you should avoid this fight. That, and along with that, I think that Angelusa is a really good fighter. So let's continue on, guys, to the last fight that I believe you should be not betting on is the main event, Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. The biggest thing that stands out to me is Tracy Cortez obviously taking this fight on short notice. She looks like she's in shape, but is she fight ready? We really don't know that. And Rose Namajunas, the girl is a basket case. Sometimes she shows up and she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fight. I don't need this. And sometimes she's like, all right, I'm here. I'm ready to get the title. We don't know. That, along with she is obviously not filled for flyweight. The shots at flyweight obviously affect her. She wears damage in these fights and she doesn't take the shots nearly as well as she did at 150 pounds. And if Tracy Cortez is on, those shots can absolutely affect Rose Namajunas. And even in her last win, she did not look good against Amanda Ribas. She didn't look good. It was a horrible fight. I think Rose Namajunas doesn't have it anymore. I think Rose Namajunas, at 32 years old, I do believe she's past her prime. And I know I'm saying all of that as if Rose Namajunas is going to lose, but I don't necessarily believe that. I think I'm picking Rose Namajunas, but it should be a little bit closer to a pick'em fight, in my opinion. Like I said, Cortez, we don't know if she's fight ready. We don't know what kind of shape she's in. We don't know if she's going to be crisp enough to beat the technique of Rose Namajunas, because Rose Namajunas is the better fighter. It's just what version of Rose is going to show up and what version of Tracy Cortez is going to show up. We don't know the questions to either of those, so I believe that you should be avoiding this fight, and I honestly believe you should be avoiding the majority of this card, guys. Like, it is such a tough card to predict. It's such a tough card to bet. So I will spend really no time on this because it's probably going to be a shorter video. I don't know how long I've been recording for. If you'd like to see my personal bets, check out the channel membership. And also, if you're looking to sign up to OddsJam, you can check that in the pinned comment description down below. You can get a discount using code Clenbat, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you'd like to hear me talk about the full card breakdown, which was an absolute mess, you can watch that video right here, guys. I will see you over there or in the next video. Take care.